Okay, we're green. This is February 18th, the Coffee County, Tennessee Investment Committee meeting. We have, I think, a full commission. Yeah, everybody's here. All members are present. So does everybody have an agenda in front of them?
We missed
Yes.
Did Mary Ann assign?
We have 6 members and all of them are here.
Did you
6
sign?
members.
Oh, good.
And does, everybody read the agenda? Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second,
I'll second.
motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Miller to approve the agenda. All in favor by aye? Aye. Okay, moving on to public comments. Anybody want to comment regarding the investment policy? Okay, the minutes from the last meeting, we have not had a meeting since, a lot of things have transpired since April the 2nd of 2024. So it's just taken us a while to get everything in order.
Need to make a motion to amend those meetings from March the 11th.
Okay, what are your amendments?
I wanted to amend the minutes in the prior meeting, March 11, 2024, to provide clarification. Regarding compliance and proper procedures, on December 14, 2022, the Investment Committee voted and approved the multi-bank securities non-corporate resolution, which acknowledges and confirms the investments of United States Treasury bills for Coffee County. 2 authorized signatures for the non-corporate resolution were Coffee County Mayor Judd Ellis Matheny and Coffee County Trustee John H. Marchesoni. The witness was Coffee County Clerk witnessed the signature of the agreement. The investment policy and the non-corporate resolution was referred to Legislative Committee January 3rd, 2023. And presentation included the opportunity to invest in United States Treasury bills at a rate of 4.75 as opposed to the current rate, interest rate we were receiving, which was 3.50.
What section of the minutes are you referring to? Because we don't know what you're talking about.
Let me finish, and then you can ask those questions.
No,
I'll
you
give it to
have, you have asked to amend the minutes. What section of those minutes are you referring to? Nobody, no member in here knows what you're talking about.
If you'll hear me out, this is a chronological history of what happened in 2022 and 2023. This is the non-corporate resolution.
So you're not amending the minutes
I am-
for the
I am.
March 11th, 2024?
I am amending the minutes. Yes.
What section? We have section 1, 2, 3, and further discussion. Which one are you referring to?
Section 1 and 2 were dealt with contract with a banking bid. Section 2 and Section 3 are the investments, and those would be the two that would answer your question. But to go back, on January 3rd, the Legislative Committee met, and the
What year?
2023.
Okay.
The members decided with the Coffee County Attorney that no approval was necessary for the option to invest in the Treasury bills. Tennessee Code Annotated 58301 specifies proper procedure of investing idle funds. There was a question on proper procedure in investing idle funds. Tennessee Code Annotated 58301 authorized investment states that counties are authorized to invest in idle funds in any of the following. Those include bond, notes, treasury bills of the United States, or other obligations guaranteed to principal and interest by the United States or any of its agencies. Certificates of deposits and other evidence of deposit at Tennessee chartered state banks, savings and loan associations, and fairly chartered banks and savings and loan associations. The Tennessee Code Annotated 58301 states that the following investments shall require approval of the Coffee County Legislative Board and an investment committee. The county legislative board shall approve any investments which are subject to Tennessee Code Annotated 58301, which fall under category B, 3, 5, and 6, which include repurchase agreements, bonds of the state, and non-convertible debt securities. So there's a it's directed that there are things that counties can invest in and things that the trustee can invest in, and there's things that the legislative board has to approve. I request that these facts be accepted and let the minutes reflect the corrections.
John, with all due respect, you're asking to amend the minutes of the March 11th, 2024 meeting, correct?
That's correct.
What section are we amending?
Section 2 and Section 3.
Okay. So are you saying this did not happen on March the 11th?
What I'm saying is that
You can't amend the actions of a body. You cannot do that. If you want to move forward with the meeting and discuss investment policy, that's what we're here for. But the minutes are only reflecting what happened in that meeting. If you
What-
disagree with what did happen,
I'm not questioning what did happen. All I'm asking for is clarification on the terminologies and what was discussed.
you were in the meeting, correct? Anybody else sitting at this table was in that meeting?
You were in that meeting.
Came in very, very late, if you remember, and I think all of this was discussed prior to me getting here.
I think the banking bid was discussed first, and then you came in at this time under 2 and 3.
Okay, as far as I can determine, all the text of these 2 pages is exactly what happened in that meeting.
I'm not saying that this did not happen. All I'm saying is it needs to be clarified.
I don't know. I just don't know where you're going with this, John. I'll be honest with you. I really don't. Right now, we have minutes from that meeting that tells exactly what happened. If you dispute what happened, let's change the text of what happened. That's all minutes do. If you want to move forward with new business where we can discuss all the clarifications of an investment policy, I agree with you 100%. But right now, minutes only show what was done. If you dispute what happened in that meeting, just tell us what you dispute.
Again, I'm not disputing the minutes. All I'm asking for is clarification on some of the things that were discussed.
I don't think this is the appropriate time to do that. Let's get forward with our new business and old business. If you dispute what happened in that meeting, give us the amendment to the minutes that would show a dispute in what happened. That's all the minutes do.
Well, I'm open to discuss it in new business.
Guys, I need a motion to approve the minutes as presented unless there's an amendment that would change what happened. If you do not agree with what happened in that meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Hollingsworth to approve the minutes. Motion seconded by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor by aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes and 1 opposition with trustee John Marchesoni opposing. Okay, all right, the minutes have been approved. Now, unfinished business, review and approve an investment policy. Now is the time to clarify. I would like for you, if you introduced a investment policy in 2017, correct? This one is dated 2017.
2017 and 2019. And then
You did one in 2019. Was it not a mirror image of this one?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever happened to that? Tell us, I want to hear the story. Because they were not approved by the legislative body, correct?
I don't think it ever went to the floor.
Okay.
There was a discrepancy in, I recollect there was a discrepancy in, under safekeeping and custody. That needed to be scratched.
In its entirety?
Yes, yes. And the reason why.
Everybody where he's, the second page of the,
Second page.
second page says safekeeping and custody practices shall be established and followed for protecting the principal and maintaining assets.
There was some discussion about the restricted funds. And investment policy should not direct.
Is there,
Okay,
is that
page
in
two.
the agenda, what we're talking about? 'Cause I don't have a copy, I probably don't either.
No,
I'm
it's
not
the
sure I do
investment
either.
policy.
Okay,
You might not have got that.
I didn't. I have it somewhere in all
Page
this.
2.
Do you have it now? You have it?
Yes, thank you.
Investment policy does not have the authority
Second paragraph, page 2.
Okay.
to direct restricted funds for the county. Only the tax levy addresses that. The investment committee does not have the authority to direct the restricted funds. So that was a conflict in that policy. I think that's the reason that I had asked to have that held until that was cleared up.
Are you talking about which one of these tax rates that you've set in
I'm
front of
talking
me?
about tax rate, I'm talking about restricted funds. One of the members of the committee wanted in writing that the restricted funds need to be invested back into that fund, which is, don't have a problem with that. The problem is that the investment committee can't make that decision. That decision is for the tax levy. The full county commission makes that decision, not the investment committee.
Would you agree that the investment committee is like most committees that only make recommendations to the legislative body?
Well, it's a policy. You know, if you put that in policy and
Okay, I got
full
you.
commission votes on it, then that's policy.
I got you.
And again, that's the responsibility of the county commission to make that directive. It's not the responsibility of the investment committee. The investment committee has no authority.
Where is that about the property taxes? I don't see it,
I think it's the third page.
or the restricted. Third page.
Oh, about the county investment committee. That's where we are on page 3.
I'm not sure where you are. Let's see.
It's showing one at the bottom, but it's the third one stapled,
I
I
see.
think.
Okay,
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
okay.
Mariana, did you bring the investment policy that was drafted with the comptroller's input, Tennessee comptroller's input?
That's what this is.
Is
The third page, which is actually numbered 1 and 2.
third page what?
On this stapled
On this
bunch,
staple?
it's only, it says one at the bottom.
That's the one.
Oh, okay, 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 said one.
So is that the one that has about the restricted funds?
Yes, on page 2, under safekeeping and custody.
Show me where you are so I can get, show you where I am.
This is just the one that's, the draft that the mayor has provided everyone. On page 2, under the,
Right here,
yeah,
okay.
And it says page 2 at the bottom.
Page 2 now instead of 1.
page
Okay.
2, under safekeeping and custody.
Okay.
General Debt Service Fund, with the exception of the library committed funds, the Judicial Drug Task Force funds, and any of the opioid abatement funds. Those 3 funds, that falls under the tax levy. It's, in the resolution under section 7. Would you pass that down to Roseanne, please?
Thank you.
Page.
Um,
Whoa. Oh, there's 2 pages that say safekeeping and,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
I
was so
stopped on the
that's a
confusing.
little confusing. So which one are you talking about?
Page 2
All
now, I was
right.
talking about.
Page
I'm
2
talking
at
about-
the
If it has
bottom.
the number 2 at the bottom,
Yes.
that's the page we're on.
Again, the investment committee has no authority or direction to determine or specify where these funds go, or how they're spent, or how they're invested, or how the interest is returned to those funds. That is listed under the tax levy. Is that section 7, Roseanne?
Be it. Yeah, I mean,
Is it section 7? Could you read that to me, please?
read section 7.
Would you please?
Be it further resolved that interest earned on county investments shall be receipted in the following manner. General fund, under general fund, it has library committed funds, opioid settlement funds, Tennessee Abatement Council, and past remediation. Drug control funds, sheriff's seizure funds, judicial district drug, 14th Judicial District Drug Task Force funds. The balance of the interest earned shall be accrued to the General Debt Service Fund unless otherwise specified by law. Is that what you wanted me to read?
I think so.
They say the same thing. I don't see a difference between this and that.
Those directives, I think we need to leave to the county commission. I don't think the investment committee has any authority to direct those funds.
Yeah.
Based on what?
Based on the tax levy that the full commission votes on.
What does the tax levy have to do with investment of those funds?
Well, I think you're misunderstanding.
Obviously. Explain it.
The restricted funds require that the interest be allocated to those funds. As far as the investing, I don't have a problem investing those funds or utilizing those funds for investments with the county. The problem that I have is that the tax levy specifies where the interest goes. On those restricted funds,
And where does it go?
back into those funds.
Each one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's what it says. That's what section 7 says.
So what would be?
That needs to be left out of the policy,
Yeah.
the investment policy.
That has been left out? Is that what you're
It
saying?
needs to be removed from the policy going forward. Any written policy going forward, the investment committee cannot specify how funds are reinvested in restricted accounts, how the interest is reinvested in restricted
Okay,
accounts.
so you're saying there's language in here that directs the interest somewhere else?
In a tax levy.
No, not in the tax levy. All it's saying is the interest, these have to be in separate funds. That's what the state comptroller said. I had to specify that in section 7, which is the same thing it says in.
Is there a state statute?
Right, that's what we're saying.
All I'm saying is that the investment policy doesn't need to have an open opportunity to be in conflict of the tax levy. It's not rocket science.
But that isn't tax dollars. That's not property tax.
That's irrelevant. That's got nothing to do with it.
Yes, it is relevant. It's not property tax. It's not sales tax.
The interest, is that what you're saying? The interest is not a tax.
Right.
It's revenue generated from the tax.
All I'm saying is that word under safekeeping and custody doesn't need to be involved or doesn't need to be in the investment policy. The tax levy already addresses that.
Well, it plainly says unless otherwise specified by law.
It's already addressed in the tax levy.
So it's, that pretty much takes care of it, right? Unless otherwise specified by law. Interest gathered from the county's investment shall be deposited in the general debt service fund. So you're saying that the interest generated from those investments cannot be put in the is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't make this more difficult than it is. I mean, it's
Then
like
why does this language trouble you?
I don't think, and again, I don't think that the investment policy should be in conflict or have any opportunity to be in conflict with the tax levy. And that's the only point that I'm arguing.
Do y'all understand what he's saying?
No, because that's what I was told to do by the state comptroller's office, 7. And I also have to add the Coffee County Schools cafeteria funds, because those are also in separate fund. To add it to this year when we go through all this. So, I mean, the two mirror each other. I don't see what the problem is, and it's not property tax. Doesn't have anything to do with the tax levy. Well, it
There's
says,
5 of us that don't understand where you're going with this.
Well, I'm
5 of
sorry
us.
that you don't understand it. I mean, it's to me, it's clear that it's already addressed in the tax levy how the interest should be distributed. I don't see the issue.
So so all we're doing is substantiating what it says in the tax levy with that paragraph.
So do you substantiate every policy with that? Is that your procedure, to substantiate every policy?
I think
with-
there's a lot of redundant language in Coffee County and TCA and policy and procedures. And redundancy does not mean inefficiency or conflict. I don't see the conflict, I apologize. We're giving you every opportunity in the world to explain it.
I'm just saying the tax levy already specifies it. It's not, how does it relate to policy?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Maybe, if I'm not thinking wrong, it's just amplifying what you can't do, basically.
It's just a verification, is the way I look at it.
Is that not right?
Is there, just for grins and giggles here, moving through this policy, was there other areas that you had in trouble with?
Yes, there are other areas that need to be
Yeah.
addressed.
Yeah. Let's move forward on something that maybe five of us can
Okay,
grasp.
let's do this. I'll take a piece of paper and pencil. It's got pencil, you got paper. Let's make two columns. Let's make a column on the left. If you'll write down 426,527,
On which side?
either side.
What's the
4,000
number?
what?
John, do you have this printed off, what you're wanting us to write?
Hold on
Why are you doing this?
Hold on just a minute.
This is not kindergarten, it's
Just-
not grade school. If you've got numbers and facts, show us the facts so we can get through this meeting.
Please write down 426,527. The next line, 478,923.
Again,
He's got it printed on a sheet of paper
478,000,
and won't show it. to us.
923. Next line is 448,579.
oh, we're putting down the line.
Yes,
I
sir.
thought we were doing side by side.
Down the line,
Want
please.
to write the second one again?
Yeah. 478,923. 448,579. 298,660.
298.
298,660. 972,030. 3,835,832. 3,835,832. And on the other side of the column, or other side of the page, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Those are the investment results. from
Can I
20
make a copy of that?
Sure. From 2019 through 2024. CTAS on their webpage or under duties of elected officials, if you look under trustee, it's going to tell you the trustee has three responsibilities. It's one, to collect property taxes, two, to receipt the monies, and three, to invest idle funds for the maximum amount. The investment policy that you have drafted does not specify or indicate that there's a designated investment officer. And for continuity, for the ability to continue investments, there needs to be a designated investment officer in this policy. Rutherford County has that they have a designated investment officer of the county, which is a trustee, who's granted the authority to make investment decisions within the parameters of Tennessee Code Annotated 58301. No other investments will be considered that are not described in Tennessee Code Annotated 58301. So this is a history of your investments. If you're looking at investment policy, you should consider a designated investment officer for obvious reasons.
That would not be you?
That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah. So that needs to be added to this policy.
Doesn't TCA already say that you are?
TCA says that 58301 says that counties have the authority to invest in bonds, notes, and treasury bills. Other investments need to be approved by the full county commission. But TCA code does not, I have not found where TCA code specifies an investment officer,
So it just says the county.
the county.
So it doesn't name any committee, no
Does.
person, no nothing.
Well, it says.
So your recommendation is have an investment officer
Right.
to circumvent the legislative body?
No, not at all,
Okay,
not at all.
He's just
but
saying-
TTA says the legislative body makes that decision.
Legislative body makes that decision on investments. That's correct. Now, the problem with that would create a hardship in making investments if you don't have a designated officer. I mean, if a committee has to meet every time an investment is to be made, just imagine all the problems you could see with that, or you could experience with that. I think it's clear in Tennessee Code Annotated 58301 what the county can invest in, and I think it's clear to add the verbiage of designating an officer and have that officer follow Tennessee Code Annotated 58301 regarding investments.
John, I got a question for you.
Yeah, Jimmy.
If you're the designated officer, the trustee, what would this committee, what would be the function of it for you just to report back to you and tell them what you've done, the investments that you've made?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a good question, Jimmy.
And we would take no action.
As the full commission, we would.
What do you mean you would take no action? I don't, you would approve the history of the
Be a
investments?
three-step process then. An investment officer would report to the investment committee. They would vote to accept or reject your investments.
Well, the investments are stated by Tennessee Code Annotated 58301, so the investments are going to be treasury bills, certificates of deposits. If there was a need to invest in, I'm pretty conservative. I don't see it, but I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. If there's an opportunity to invest in commercial paper or state bonds, then it would be my responsibility to go before the investment committee, then go before the county commission, or investment committee, legislative committee, then the full commission to get that investment approved.
Or maybe to seek a recommendation from this committee for your investments to
Sure,
present to the commission?
sure, but I don't, in this market that we're experiencing now and in the last 5 years, I don't see that happening. In the event that I see that would be an opportunity, I would come before this committee, then I would expect this committee to pass it on to legislative, then from legislative to the full commission.
Gotcha.
I got a question. The part it seems like we're leaving out is not where to put the money. You also need to know how much. Mary Anna's gotta know how she's gonna get the bills paid.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things I was going to ask is if there was some way we could get an estimate from the Budget and Finance Office.
I think we'd have to.
I think if we had, if we could get an estimate prior to that month, prior to the next month, on what the budget office is going to spend, that would give us an idea of how much money we need to hold, if you will, for that. And an example is we had a significant increase in payroll ending January 28, 2025, and you know, that was one thing that.
Can I have that number sheet again?
Just a minute. we try to maintain enough to cover the monthly expenses, and we've been fortunate enough that we do have a little bit of a cushion, if you will, but we never know. We project, but we never know exactly how much money the budget office is going to ask for each month. So I wish we had a little bit better handle on that.
Well, can I add, you get a report, you have a monthly report with all the beginning, fund balance, the receipts that come in, and the disbursement, and you should have it back to the beginning of time. You should be able to look at that.
Yeah.
And I also provide that to the commission with your monthly report, and now I do all the funds. That's under the,
Very good. And that's
So-
after the fact.
so that, you should be able to look at that and, you know, do some kind of, estimate.
And we do. And we
So
do.
I don't see what the problem is.
Again, it's a matter of communication, but that's,
I mean, if you look at that report that's on the monthly report, it's got 2 years.
right.
You can go back and do 3 or 4, but, you know, with the payroll increasing substantially, because we've got everybody, we had huge raises the last couple of years. We've hired more people.
no, I mean, that's not it. That's,
Well, I'm not gonna
We-
do extra work when you already have the documentation in your office.
thank you, Mariana. Thank you.
Dennis, are you the chairman?
I am,
I have a question.
sir.
What are we discussing now? Are we trying to get a policy in place?
All
Is that
right,
what we're trying to do?
in our last audit, exit, a recommendation from the Tennessee Comptroller's Office that we adopt an investment policy because we do not have one.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I got a question.
Sure.
And having had the job Mariana's got, I had both jobs. So I didn't have a problem, but I see, and John's point, if Mariana knows something he doesn't know that may be coming up, we don't want him to tie up all the money. So at some point, Mariana's gonna have to say, there's something coming up you may not know about.
I would think, yeah, that makes sense, and I don't know of any instance where she did not do that.
I think we'll just have to depend on
Mhm.
some kind of communication that we would like to invest as much as we can,
Interest
but we can't
yields.
put so much
I
in
need
there
to
that
read
we
them
can't pay
into the
bills.
video.
Did you not write those down?
Do what?
Did you not write those down?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We have printers.
I wrote them down. Here they are.
Jimmy wrote them down.
Need 'em.
Do you not have the copy? I asked if I could print
I'm
it.
not sure where it's at. I
I'm
thought I
gonna
gave it to
print
you.
it
You didn't
off.
get the
I thought I gave it
minutes.
to you.
I thought you were gonna go make a copy and,
Yeah, I did, probably. All right,
He's
here's
got- if you wanna read
here's
those.
what I want everybody to know. If this is the problem of having people scribble stuff down, reciting to them. All right, I want to be sure that, do you not have your copy? So I'm guessing if Jimmy did this right.
I'm sure
The
Jimmy did it right.
the interest yields for 2019 was 426,000. Is that correct?
That's
By
correct.
memory? All right. Now for 2020, was it 478?
Correct.
And so, I mean, we're looking this way, so 446 and 21. Let's do it this way. I want people to understand what the trustee has presented to us. Let's go back just 1 year. In 2023, there was $972,000 yield on interest investments. That's total, correct?
That's correct.
All right. 2024, that jumped to $3,835,832.
That's correct.
Okay, to your credit, I want to give you the opportunity to tell us how this $3 million increase was accomplished.
I can tell you.
It's almost 4 million, you might as well round up.
Well, 972, 3,800,000.
You
Okay.
There's 3 million difference.
You could get the money in '23, to earn a whole lot more, and if you put it in long enough term, it shows up in '24.
That's the reason that you need an investment, someone,
I
those
get
results
it.
are
I get it.
those results are the reason you need a designated investment advisor on that.
I still don't know what happened to that sheet of paper. But
Well,
tell it, explain to us how this increased.
if you look at 2022, what's the figures on 2022?
298.
298.
298, 298,000. So what happened?
The lowest.
What happened in 2022?
COVID and everything.
COVID,
else
okay.
Before that.
Again, Tennessee Code Annotated 58301 specifies that investments should not be any longer than a period of 24 months. We have a 24-month window to make our investments and get the biggest bang out of them in 24 months. Now, the full commission, the investment committee, and the full commission can say we can extend those terms to 36 months, if you will. I don't favor that. I think that we need to stay within the window of 24 months. So looking at that, we have to take advantage of what's happening in the market, whether it be a 6-month period, a 12-month period, or a 24-month period. I'm not tying money up for 36 months. Not the county's money. I'm not going to tie it up for 36 months. The market fluctuates too much. Too many things can happen on a national level. So I think that, again, if we go back to Tennessee Code Annotated 58301, follow that roadmap, follow that template, we're going to be just fine. And I think you can look at the history and you can see, and you've got an explanation of when we had opportunities, and you've got an explanation of what happened, and you can see how the market fluctuated during those times, and what opportunities we had and what opportunities were taken away from us.
Well, it went nearly 10 years flat before.
Okay, once
COVID.
again, to your credit, this is your chance to explain it. What is the explanation? What did you do to gain $3 million in interest on investments? I didn't hear the explanation for how that happened.
Mayor,
Did you just put it in the right places? Is that, I mean, there's got to be a simple
You
answer to
put
that.
in as much as you
Let
can.
him answer, please. He's our trustee.
I think I just did my job.
Good boy. So now, you said you don't put anything anywhere beyond 24 or 36?
24 months.
24 months.
You can't.
You said we could go
You
36,
have
but
that
you don't
option.
recommend it.
I don't see it at this point.
Yeah. There's a very controversial decision you made. I know it's uncomfortable to talk about, but there was an investment made a year ago in March where money was removed from county financial institutions and went with some investment firm out of state or something. Do you want to talk to us about that?
If I go back to the original motion to amend the minutes,
Mhm.
in December 14th of 2022, I went to the investment committee and presented the opportunity to invest in treasury bills with multi-bank securities. At that point, it passed the investment committee. We moved it to the legislative committee to get their blessing on it. The legislative committee approved that proposal. We invested those monies in treasury bills at 6 months. I'm not sure that it was a controversial thing. I mean, again, it was looking at what opportunities were there and what opportunities that we executed. I'm not sure that it was controversial. Some people might think it was controversial, but again, it's part of the oath that I take. I have a responsibility to invest idle funds at the maximum amount, and that's exactly what I did. So I don't see that as being controversial.
All right, so when you're recounting what transpired there, you actually did go to an investment committee
Yes.
for their approval?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
in-
we're
it's- yeah.
already approving investments? Is that what you're saying?
It's in the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in the minutes of the investment committee.
Mhm.
It's in the minutes of the legislative committee. Did you want to read those?
I have. So let me ask you this. Are those investments, the ones that I just referred to, that wound up, that was a very contentious meeting in March, right? I thought it was. And it all was based upon the fact that financial institutions in Coffee County, Manchester, Tullahoma, had a problem with what happened to investments. And,
Well, unfortunately, the county does a lot of business outside of Coffee County. It's not something that I would have rather that the money stay in Coffee County. And that's not all the dollars that we have. I didn't take all the money out of Coffee County.
right.
Okay, I took probably 50-60%.
Put a dollar figure on that for us.
That's about 25 million.
Okay.
Okay,
And where is that money today?
that money is in. It's in your local banks today.
So all of it's back. There's
It's
nothing.
every bit of it's back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what financial institutions are we using now?
Well, we use First Bank,
Mhm.
First Vision Bank, Coffee County Bank, People's Bank. Let's see. Smart Bank. We've sent bids to Smart Bank, and unfortunately, some of those bids were outbidded by other banks. Traders Bank and Tri-County Community Bank. Have I left any off?
That's all I'm thinking of.
Did you mention Old National?
I don't even know them.
Old National, we had with Old National, we had a clearing account with Old National, and we changed that to meet with the clearing account. There was a hardship with the schools, so we changed that. We changed that account to another clearing account so that they didn't have the hardship of having to go to the bank and physically going to the bank and making that transaction.
John, when you had the money out of the county, was it a considerable bit more
Well,
than if it had been local?
Treasury bills went to like 5.6, 5.3, 5.6. So again, that was an opportunity that, that they're backed by the United States government. Both the investment committee, the legislative committee approved that. It was an opportunity it was an opportunity to gain more interest. It was an opportunity for me to do my job, and that's exactly what I did.
When that was at 5.6, what was it local? You remember what it
Local
was?
was like 3.5. When we started this, it was in December of 22. We were looking at 4.75 versus 3.50. Again, I'm all for keeping the money at home, but I still have a responsibility to try to get the most interest that I can. And I think that most directors, most officials, I think that there's,
And that was at 60% of this 25 million, you think?
well, 25 million was 60% of what our total was.
Okay.
Okay. you know, if you want to talk about, you know, why do we do business outside the county, our heating and air system, was that local? Was that a local company that did our heating and air?
Yeah, they work, local companies work on it every week, just about.
Okay, I understand that was a company out of Knoxville that did the,
Train
Engineering
Corporation
and-
is who we made the deal with
Okay.
because of the equipment purchase. Nobody manufactures air conditioners in
okay,
Coffee
and then
County.
the roof, was it a local?
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to get down into the woods of it, I mean, do we, everything we do we do local? Do we do any business with any outside vendors?
I do. I have to.
Well,
Think
there's,
Clerk does.
there's a whole slew of patrol cars out there. Were they all bought local? Were they bought from Al White or Stan McNabb or
State
How will they-
contracts and everything else.
state contracts? Okay.
We'll do everything.
yeah, the state
Okay.
contract, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, from a standpoint, you know, that's an expense. What we did in this office is we brought money into the county. We earned the most interest that we could for the county. So,
To your credit, is there anything in this investment policy before us that would prevent you from duplicating the numbers that were produced last year?
I don't, well, if all the investments had to be, and I'm talking every investment that we make, if it has to be blessed by the committee, when they're already blessed by Tennessee Code annotated 5-8-301, that's going to be a hardship because, again, it's a timing thing. And the other thing is two signatures came up in the prior meeting, March 11th of 2024. The chief deputy trustee, to my recollection, has always signed off on any CDs we've invested with local banks. So if I have to find somebody from this committee to go to the bank with me every time we invest in a CD, that's going to be a hardship. The chief deputy trustee, to my recollection, has always signed off on any CDs that we've invested. It's not all one signature. There's checks and balances, and there's internal controls that have to be followed. So that's, to designate someone from this committee to sign off on every investment would be a terrible hardship. I don't know how you'd expect me to do my job.
Do we have a time for comment?
Sure. Make it short because you passed up the public comment
Yeah.
period, please.
John, this last year, budget year that we just finished, what was that 4.3 million that you brought in off the investments? What was that?
Oh, Jimmy, do you have that?
3.8.
3.8,
3.8. And then the year before, it was 900 and something thousand.
972.
As someone that follows this budget in the county as an elected official, I can't even begin to say how much that 3.8 million meant to this county. What a difference it made in getting some things caught up for our county. I think that there's a big thing out here on the table, and it is a job was well done. A job was well done. People invest all different ways, but if you know what you're doing and you watch the market, this is the results you get. We all know that. Personally, we know it. I just think I'm listening to a lot of negativity and trying to push a lot of pushback. And I've received it as an elected official in my tenure here. And an elected official is here to do a job, and it's not to be changed or tweaked by county government, it's state. When we get off track, as you know, this county from the old days that Dennis was here with, I was told when I was elected and came in, I was told by our current CTAS representative that I needed to run my office as a department, not as official office. All I knew and all I've done since is follow every regulation, every statute, so that my back's covered. And certainly when this official goes into not doing it exactly the way the statutes are for him, then he puts himself out for a lot of liability, and the county should never ask of that. There is a separation of the officials and county government because of the state regulations. And sometimes if you're getting confused as a commissioner or what have you, please grab county government manual and get in there and read some, because I assure you, no one in the official offices are doing anything but those guidelines. And again, $3.8 million went a long way when you did the budget last year.
It
When
was
you
a
look at
net
it this
gain
year-
of 3 million.
Do
It
what?
was a net gain of
A
3
net
million.
gain of
in
3
1 year.
million meant a lot to this county when I watch us fight over $5,000. When, when I'm fixing to have to go through that, and I'm gonna remember everything that's being said here today when I go to Budget Committee. I appreciate everybody's effort, and I don't want us losing the focus.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
March 2024, I wrote an investment policy after the meeting that we had, and what I'd like to ask, I know we're already into an hour, what I'd like to ask is that you look at that, review that with the other committee members, and maybe we can get together and further discuss this and make a decision on it in the next meeting.
I mean, we've been a year. The last time this was addressed was almost a year ago. And so,
I wrote that in March of 2024, and
all I'm saying is, we haven't had a meeting in a year, so it's time that we do something. And the reason we're here to adopt an investment is because of the state of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee Comptroller's Office has made a recommendation. It was very close to being a finding.
I did not get that. I did not receive a finding on
That's
that.
because it wasn't in your audit, it was in my office. The exit audit for the mayor's office. And
I didn't see that.
Well, you won't.
But
you
anyway,
won't. That's confidential.
could you make copies of that investment policy, circulate it to the other members, and maybe between now and next week, or is that, would that be enough time for everybody to review?
Yeah. Would you, let me ask you this, this one is 2 pages? And I think the one we're looking at is 3.
I think that,
Yeah, no, you got 2. So this is a simpler one, correct?
and I think a policy is probably a living piece of work. It's something that, based on market conditions and changes, I think probably it would serve best to be changed at different times to reflect what's happening. I think you can take the time to go through and read this. I don't think it's going to take a long time to do that, but I think if we can just digest everything today and maybe look at it this week and meet next Tuesday at 8:30. Would that,
I can't make.
you
next
can't do
Tuesday.
that? Okay,
I
is
can
there,
do Monday.
could you do Monday?
Oh, well, I think we're all here Monday anyway.
Could you do Monday,
Ag.
Roseanne?
Ag committee Monday too.
Okay, what time is that?
8:30?
Ag's at 9. We could do it
Yeah,
before
we could,
or after.
is 30 minutes enough? Probably.
Monday, is that what you're looking
Yes,
at? Yeah. You know, that is, what date is that?
That's the 24th.
24, okay. I don't think there's anything. I would like to discuss the two signature thing. I mean, of this 6 people, of this body, this committee, 6 of us are elected officials, okay? I mean, I'm sorry, 5 of us. 5 of us are elected. So, the signature, 2 signature, I don't think you'd have any trouble finding any one of us, to obtain that second signature
My
that is
experience
in
is-
this one investment policy.
My experience has been in the past, anytime I've, especially on the checking accounts, we've had changes in elected officials, and it's a minimum of 2 days to get signatures together. I don't know that I have that much time.
And Marianne might not like it, but why wouldn't she be the second signature?
What would be wrong with the,
I had asked to be the, and,
what's wrong with the deputy trustee, chief deputy trustee?
What's wrong with somebody outside of your office?
It still falls
doing
under
it?
internal controls.
but you supervise her, you direct her work.
Well, I feel like this committee will probably take a vote on that one,
Okay.
probably. I'll just see.
Sure.
I think we need to take a little pressure off you, spread it around a little bit. And, that
I'm
would
sorry,
help.
What was your, to what? I don't understand that.
I hear that a lot.
Did we set a meeting?
I think we did.
Okay.
Did we say
I got
next
mine
on the 24th
Monday at 8:30,
8:30?
correct?
That's what I
Yeah.
got.
So, will 30 minutes do it, or you think we'll need an hour? We do it at 8, give us an hour,
I'm hoping,
think 8 or 8:30.
We could do 8, that wouldn't bother me a bit.
Me
But if
either.
we've got a meeting at 9, so we need to be free by 8, by 9.
Surely it wouldn't take, we could get it done in an hour, surely. Right.
would y'all rather do an evening meeting, afternoon? I'll throw that out.
I'd rather do
4
it that
o'clock.
morning.
Well, if I'm gonna be here Monday morning for another meeting at 9, I'd just soon do it Monday morning before that meeting, if that would work for everyone else, but
You have a meeting at 9?
Yeah, I do too, you do too.
What is it?
Ag, 9 o'clock.
Oh, I'm no longer on ag.
Okay, we'll just be me and.
So, Mr. Chairman, will you distribute the March 2024?
8
Yep.
or 8:30.
Yep.
March 2024.
I could do that.
So what are we doing now?
The Chairman's going to distribute March 2024.
Yeah, I'm
Investment
talking about
policy?
the date, time.
8 or 8:30.
8:30 is better for me.
Okay, we'll be
We're
finished by
still on
9
eight
then.
thirty.
8:30.
Okay. Yeah, I want a copy of each, so I can
We'll
think
make
about it
copies right now.
for a week.
Is there any more new business? Y'all got anything else you wanna add?
I do. I have 4 projects coming up, and they're all over 500,000. So I'm going to have separate retained accounts opened for those. And the first one, here you go. It's like the train project we had. You have to take the 5% when they send their invoice in. Has to go in a separate interest-bearing account. So that is the first one. It was awarded to Rogers Group. So the account has to be labeled that way. And then when we get the bids opened and the contractor approved, then I'll know about the other 3.
What project?
We have the animal shelter.
Yes.
We have the construction of the health department, and then we have the water wastewater authority, that one.
Is this ARP money?
No,
Okay.
so it's the same thing we did with train, when we write the check to Rogers Group, we will take the 5%, and that needs to go in this separate account. And it will be interest-bearing, and when the project's done and signed off on, we will write a check and give the money to Rogers Group.
What is that wastewater thing? I'm not familiar.
That's
What you talking about?
TDEC. We have 3 that are TDEC that we approved back in 2022. The wastewater authority is doing field lines, and we did a control panel. And it's got our money, our personal money, and the other is
I
TDEC.
wasn't
is
part of
giving us-
that. I don't
Yes,
remember
you were,
that.
yeah, you were. It's that one we talked about. Bobby Bryan was chairman, and we had the list, Margaret, and we all went through it and decided what projects we were going to do with the, the
Oh,
money we received.
so that is federal money we're talking about.
Okay, what they did was, when they first gave everybody this 10.9 million,
Yeah,
they said, they had restrictions. However, they changed the guidelines and said that if you want to do revenue recognition, because, obviously because of COVID, everybody was struggling with funds, interest rates were down, you could classify that money up to 10 million as just
General
revenue.
fund.
You can do whatever you want to with
yeah,
it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And what is the wastewater part? That's what I'm trying to remember.
There, part of it is designated as ARPA, but it does not have any restrictions as far as federal. It's like they gave us the money. We did the Motorola project with
I
it.
understand all that. I'm just, the
TDEC.
money we're talking about for wastewater, I'm not remembering.
Okay, I'll get you the schedule. Yeah.
Did you mean to specify an amount on this account that you want opened?
Excuse me.
Did you mean to specify an amount that you want to open this account?
Oh, whatever the minimum is, I don't know.
Okay, if you can just specify it, send it to me. I can do that.
We won't know until we get our bids, right? I mean,
Right, I don't have the, we haven't been invoiced for this because we need to do the site.
Okay, I was just looking for an amount to open the account.
Well, I'd say,
Just look at it and just send it to me, it'll be fine. You can email me.
Dennis, do you want a copy of this? I
Yes.
CC'd you on it.
email's fine. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
But we're
All
not gonna
those in
leave
favor?
until we get your copies.
Yeah, whatever you get a copy.
All those in favor, aye.
Thank you all for being here.